what's going on, guys? TayJay Productions here, and today I am visiting more dead retail locations around the southern Indianapolis area, and we are gonna get right into it here with the Burger King of Doom behind me. Now, I call this the Burger King of Doom because this has been like, obviously it started out as a Burger King. It's a Burger King building. That closed down, and then a Rosita's Pancake House took over. That closed down, and then a Mexican restaurant took over, and that closed down. So as far as I know, 3 restaurants have been in here, and none have been able to survive. Let's go see what it looks like. The original sign, so we do have an interstate over here. This is new. This used to be a highway, and then they changed it into an interstate here recently. But over here is where the Burger King sign would have shown on over here to the highway. It's such a weird area because there's no connection to this interstate, but there's where the Burger King sign would have been at one point. And obviously this is the drive-through area. Let's go ahead and start walking this way. Over here you can see that this is where the drive-through menu was. Some remnants here. It's been a few things since, so I don't know if they've used this since Burger King moved out, but this is where the order machine would have been. And then you would have gone that way, but we are already over here by the Krusty Dumpy, so I've got to take a look in the Krusty Dumpy because you know how it is. And this is interesting. So there is no Krusty Dumpy here, but there is a Krusty couch. I am not sitting on that Krusty couch, but there are some very interesting things back here. There's the door to the back. We got a trash can full of goodies that has been sitting here God knows how long. All right, well, could you imagine a bunch of trash found in a trash area? Crazy. You never know. I always say that, so I just have to check because you never know when my Chuck E. Cheese guy is gonna be, no, not, look, I would like to walk through here, but this plant is just saying no. I'm gonna step on it. It's got thorns on it. What the hell? Okay, good thing nobody was waiting for me around the corner. All right, so we have like a little walkway here, and then there's ring the doorbell, see if there's anybody home. We are gonna go check. We're gonna look through the windows, but this is an interesting location. So there's a gas station that turned into a rental store, and that went out of business too. It's just so weird. Obviously there is a available property sign over here since everything is gone, and this isn't even everything. There's some more stuff over here I'm gonna show you. La Cabana Bar and Grill, now open. Nope. Now closed. Yeah, not open anymore, but let's double check here. Oh, this is cool. So remember when Burger King had these spatulas as the doors, the door handles? Well, obviously when Burger King moved out, they had to scratch those off, but well, there's their hours of operation. It is a Thursday at 1 p.m. and they are gone for good. This is, okay, this is interesting. This is the first time I looked through the windows, guys, and there is it looks like a lone tequila bottle or a bottle of liquor, but it's massive. I don't know if size does it justice, but that looks like at least like a 5-gallon bottle. They needed their liquor in here, apparently. Yeah, these door handles though, anyways, back to the original point here, these were so cool, and I love how they had to scratch off the Burger King logo here. I mean, I guess it makes sense, it's not Burger King anymore, and Burger King probably did it themselves, but we have a high chair in the window, or in the door. Over here we have my silhouette, and it looks like they brought some stuff like kitchen equipment out and just sat it here in front of the order area. Yeah, but this was one of those blue roof Burger Kings, obviously, and that was before they did the modernization remodel, and now all the Burger Kings that are still open don't usually look like this. So that's the door we were just looking at. We come over here. Looks like they did a lot of work here. So who knows if maybe somebody's going to take the spot, but as far as furniture goes, it is all gone. And we're coming around here to the other side, take another peek in this window. Probably not gonna see much else other than this very sussy liquor bottle. What is that? Y'all, I hope it's not pee. I hope it's not pee. We got the drive-through areas over here. Looks like these doors have been closed. Yep, they're locked. Left some stuff behind in here. There's the kitchen area. They left a lot of things behind. Is that ketchup? Interesting. It looks like this place has been abandoned for a minute now. I was trying to do my research. This window is open. That's interesting. That is incredibly interesting, actually. I wonder... So there's a plant right there. Wow. Now, if I were a hardcore urban explorer, I would probably try to see if I could jump through that window. I've seen other people do it, but I am not going to enter a building I'm not allowed to be in. So I won't be doing that, but honestly, I wonder if I could just be a good Samaritan and close this. It's closed now, so, but it's definitely not locked, so interesting. Anyways, we are moving on to the next place. One final note, the road sign right here, La Cabana, no more. La Cagana, more like it. Did that make, no, okay, let's move on to the next one. This complex that I'm showing you these abandoned buildings in is so weird because it's kind of out of the way. There's like a lot of like residential area over here, but not much commercial area. And so it's really weird because other than the interstate here, you'd have to really do some driving down the back roads to get to this area, which I did. And it's just, of course, most of these businesses didn't survive because look, it doesn't even attach to the interstate. This is where the road ends before it turns either which way. We'll get into that in a moment, but this is the end of the road. It doesn't attach to the interstate. And so it's just kind of a really, because there's like not much around here. We got a whole complex sign here with a bunch of empty signs, just nothing, it's vacant. What is this place called? The Marketplace. Okay. Not much market in this place. So, right next to the Burger King of Doom, we have this Sunoco gas station that was turned into a tool and party rental store. And although it looks like it's open, it's not. Well, let's start with the fact that this was a Sunoco gas station. I think the majority of you guys know what Sunoco is. It's like the official NASCAR fuel or whatever, I don't know. I'm from Indianapolis and I still don't know much about racing. Don't get on me for that one. But yeah, this was a gas station at one point and they closed the gas station down, somebody took it over, so there's no pumps anymore. But of course the awning where the pumps were is still here. So let's take a look at that. So the awning is still holding strong over here. And of course, we still got that Sunoco design here. Very classic look, you can't go wrong with that. And then the numbering here on the very top of the pumps. I'll take 50 on pump 3. Well, there is no pump 3, yeah, the pumps were all gone. So, that is that here for those pumps that they took out. But of course, as you see, something moved in and I don't think they're there anymore. I did some research, but it's usually like a quick thing before I turn on the video camera. So you and I are gonna learn this together here for the first time, if this place is really closed or not. There's like rocks on the ground. It's been a long time since I've walked up to a gas station that's closed. This is weird. It's usually a hub where there's a lot of activity going on. So, tool and party rental, I don't think it is anymore. There's a notice of temporary closure here from May 1st through May 15th. It is not within those time frames. All right, so we got an ominous chair here. And yeah, I would say This place is pretty closed. There's not much here anymore. That looks like that was where the coolers were once, where you would come in and get your drinks when this was a gas station. And there's really just not much here left anymore. So it's looking pretty empty. But of course, you girls got to do her walk around, so you guys are going to come with me on that one. They still have security cameras up here, so it doesn't look like they necessarily don't own this building anymore. It looks like they just moved out of it, but I'm still going to label it as abandoned. There's a door back here. There's another suite. Let's take a look. All right, so this looks like this would be the back where they probably had all their supplies. It's just empty in there now, so please use main entrance. So it looks like they had us coming in through here around the side. Okay, so this is news to me. This also used to be an axe lounge. Now, wherever you're located, I don't know if this is as common for you guys, but here in Indiana, there's a lot of axe throwing. It's some of people's favorite things to do. It's throwing axes against the wall. So I'm guessing that's what that means, axe lounge. But I don't think this is an axe lounge anymore either. I think it's an absolutely, it's nothing. It's nothing. There's nothing here anymore. But I guess this is where they would do that. And what's up? I wish I could get you to see through those doors, but you can't. But you're not missing out on anything. There's nothing there. So, but there is a crusty dumpy over here. Let's take a look. Every single time you go to a location like this, you gotta check that crusty dumpy. We all know, because you never know what you'll find, like a crusty couch. Or, I mean, you might find gold. You really might. You just don't know. So, see, the gold is the giant waterlogged mattress. That's the gold. But you just gotta look. That's quite a few mattresses in there. That's a massive mattress. What is that, like a California king? No, it's probably just a king. I don't know. That's a good thing I'm not in the mattress business. I don't know the difference. What's underneath here? I can't really tell, but it looks nasty and moldy. Yeah, you see that? Okay. Side note, when you're checking that crusty dumpy, don't touch anything that you don't necessarily need to touch. That is a big bee's nest. Anyways, don't touch anything that you necessarily don't need to touch, because you don't know what's on this stuff. If you see something, you gotta have it. I mean, that's a risk that you're willing to take, and you know, I've made that risk before. But that stuff, gross. Well, this is where it would have said Sunoco, of course, with the logo next to it. They put the sign over there, and now they're gone too. So nobody's here at all anymore. Next door is another abandoned building. Let's take a look. Before I get moving that way, I just want to point out there are some businesses over here that are still alive. We have a Subway over here on the end, and we have something called Wolfpack that looks like it just opened up. I'm gonna guess something about dogs, and then a dance studio. So there is some activity over there. Otherwise, this entire complex is dead. I decided to pass up this garage over here. Looks like an auto garage where they would do maintenance, like a Jiffy Lube or something like that. I decided to pass that up, but just know that that is there too. Anyways, let's go to this CVS. Do you guys have bling like I do on my keychain? Do you have a TayJay Productions keychain on your keyring? If you don't, go get your stuff at TayJayProductions.com. Keyrings, stickers, autographed photos. One thing you can't get that I have is this Art the Clown keychain. Oh my God, I love it. But listen, anyways. Oh yeah, there's the money shot. The last place I have to show you in this, the Marketplace abandoned complex, is of course this CVS. So just such in a weird location. I mean, I can't get over the fact that, like, look. Need I say more? So as I was showing you guys earlier, the Marketplace complex sign over there, there's another one. And it's right over here on the other side of this CVS, right by the interstate. It's up there, all empty as well, and there's the cars going by. All right, well, let's take a look. So as you can see here, the bushes, the shrubbery and all that, it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it's a little bit overgrown, but so far, it really doesn't look awful, like this has been abandoned for a long time. I'm gonna say maybe a few years. This is a newer, like, design CVS, so I'm not gonna say that this was abandoned for a lot of time, you know? There is a sign up here, and we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this sign and see what it says. Our store has closed, but we're still nearby. West Southport Road, that is kind of nearby. I mean, that is probably a more convenient location. A lot more convenient than this one. And wow, imagine the time it took to build this just for it to close. Like, what were they thinking building over here? Let's see what we can find. See, so the double windows makes it kind of hard to look inside all the way. See my brightness going up and down here. Doing my best. What's up, guys? Okay, there's a little bit. This is over here by the registers, I'm guessing. Might not be, but I can't see much else. The lights are on, so we know that. Let's look here on the other side. Maybe those are the registers. I just can't tell with all of this. Yeah, it's hard to do this when there's two sets of doors and then the sunlight shining directly on them, so that's not set up for our success. Let's do a walk around though. This location did at one time have a red box. I'm gonna see if the red box is still here, but if you guys know about red box, they did completely stop all their, from what I understand. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but from what I understand, so I'm gonna say this 95% confidently, they closed all of their locations. Redbox, physical media rental is not a thing anymore, unfortunately, in this digital streaming era. So Redbox was a place that you could go. There were little kiosks at McDonald's, CVS's, and stuff like that, and you can rent CDs, DVDs, even video games sometimes, and they're all gone now. So I know sometimes they're left behind. I'm seeing if there's one here. So far, I don't see anything, and they're usually right by the front door, so I'm gonna guess probably not. There is a dumpster over here. Well, at least a little dumpster house that it sat in. I don't think it's actually in there anymore. But we're gonna take a little peeky peek. I have to scream in this video because of this interstate. Uh-oh, somebody was eating at the Burger King of Doom. There's nothing really else in there. And I do not want to know what horrors await in that bag. We're gonna move on. And then there's another little area over here, and this light is flashing. It's having itself a nice little rave. Okay, so this door in the back here has a sign on it that is empty. The sign says nothing, not a thing. Okay, so this looks like this is probably where the, oh yeah, that's probably where the trash compactor was. And we're gonna be able to get in there and take a look. Maybe not, okay. I was wrong, it's locked. But we can peek our heads through and see what used to be a compactor right here. And there's the chute that all the trash would go into, the compactor. But they took that all out. It is gone now. And that's that. So, no dumpsters here, or not really even any trash here at this CVS. This is like the quietest this video has been so far. So there's a drive-thru over here. Mostly every CVS has a CVS pharmacy drive-thru, and that's what this would have been. They would have pulled through right here to pick up their prescriptions, and here's where they would pick them up at. Obviously it's closed. Here's where you would call the pharmacist if they weren't at the window and pick up your prescriptions here. Looking behind this CVS, there's a lot of undeveloped land. So I can imagine, the sun is so bright. I could imagine that they had plans on developing and making more businesses around here, but being that these businesses, the 3 that I just showed you, aren't doing too well, I don't think they found a need to continue building this road or making more. So, this is where the road ended, right here. Guys, the effort it took me to get that shot was stupid. But I do it because I love it, and you guys know that. There is something else really cool I gotta show you about this pharmacy drive-thru. So, I'm not entirely sure. This looks like the thing that you would put in at the bank and it would shoot up into the tube. I'm almost completely convinced that's what this is here. I've just never seen it used for a pharmacy before. But that's what it looks like. That looks like that's where you would put the thing in the chute and it would go. It says it's not functioning. Part still on boat from China. Interesting. I don't think that part is ever gonna arrive then. So here it'll stay. Yeah, that's gotta be what that is though. So I don't see many pharmacies having a chute option instead of having to actually like see somebody at the window. But I'm glad I saw that when I was making this very silly shot over here. And then walking around the side here, I'm not seeing much else other than, of course, this says employee parking only. So I guess this is where the employees parked their cars. Looks like it's parallel parking here. That or very short, tiny cars. And then as we walk around to the corner, this would be the main parking lot. There's your entrance, even a mailbox over there, and boom. Wait, yo, is there pizza? Hold on. Hold on. What the hell? Yuck, how long has that been there? Pizza time. That's crazy. That's honestly so funny. What is this from? Gallagher's. Oh, okay. They're a few roads up. I do know. I hear they have good pizza. Here's my taste if I want it. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully an animal comes and eats that. That'll be nice for them, right? And then there's some, honestly, I don't want to know what those are. And then there's another box over here. This one's full too, isn't it? Yo, this one's full. No, it's not. Oh, there's something in it though. Oh yeah, no, it is full. There's 2 full pizza boxes over here. What happened in this location? Guys, this is why you don't build. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I can only begin to imagine what has happened in this parking lot, why there's pizza boxes. What were they doing here with pizza? Why did they leave all the pizza? So many questions. But anyways, guys, you don't know what you're gonna find when you go to places like this, and I hope you enjoyed discovering this little complex with me. That was a lot of fun. Sometimes you go to these things and it's just a building. Other times there's a little story to tell, and there's definitely a story to tell back there. So, one little more thing to show you before we hit the road and go our separate ways. This is the old CVS sign that was on the interstate. There's the interstate. This definitely shows some age, probably at least a few years. I know this interstate was redesigned and reconstructed in 2023, so it's probably been abandoned for at least a couple years from that construction. Anyways guys, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment. And if you really enjoyed it and you're not subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button. Check the notifications because YouTube be crazy lately and they're not being nice to small YouTubers like me and others. So please support us if you can. I have my website, TayJayProductions.com. I linked earlier, I'm gonna link it again. And that's it guys. Until next time guys, goodbye.